That way you can, connect your Wi-Fi. And then, you know how when you do the live, can you invite us, like I said, yeah, so go ahead and invite me in, and it'll be a second camera.
Right there. Let me know when you're ready. The network is the CBCI, last two digits, 2.4. And the password is begin 82 10 and career. It ends 2.4.
Now, what was the number? What's the name? CBCI. Which one?
2.4.
You said begin, lowercase?
Yep, lowercase, begin 82 10 and career. All one, all together.
10.
82, 10,
Career.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's words.
So beyond the bills of Wise Master Builder Brand. And that's the shirt you okay.
Well, yeah, we got an event that we're gonna have on the 5th of August, and everybody gets the shirt. It's a cycle bar event. So whenever we do an event, it's, in this particular vein, it's our health and wealth series.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna offer the shirts to go with the event.
Okay.
But the purpose of that particular event is, we're gonna lose weight and increase our investments.
Okay.
So it's living beyond the bills.
I'm on my radio show. Let me call you back in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you get a chance to look at it, or you just checking it out now?
I looked at it. I was driving when I got it earlier. But I looked at it. I said, wow. I said, okay.
Yeah, well, you might have to cover all of the points, but yeah.
I said, they're on point. All right.
So, we really probably want to have one person kind of be responsible. Dale, you want to handle with it?
Which one we do with it?
Just letting people know that we're going online right now.
Okay.
Facebook part?
We'll be miscellaneous.
You said add you on?
Yeah, go ahead and hit me with the.
You want to add me? Sure.
Please, boy. That ain't gonna make it. Oh yeah, I be coming in here on like 50.
So not just to watch it, but hit me with the, you know how it says invite somebody into the actual
to talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do that. That way we'll get a second camera and go.
Gotcha.
Do that
right. Okay. About to get started in 1 second, guys. Yo, Tilda, guess what I got in the studio with me? Take a guess. Smith podcast. Never did that before. Get the okay. Okay.
Should I come out of it?
I'm trying to add you. I see the name on there.
So mine's president came out, so then I get up to
that. I don't think they're much of a right multiple people, so
what am I doing?
Can you request on your end to try to come on?
Okay, I'm just going to watch it. All we do?
Yeah, that's my okay.
Oh,
That's airplane.
And I'm in no rush, guys, so.
This is the line.
Usually it's the host that has to do it. They'll say invite a person to,
Okay.
like you get a notification.
Yeah, he can do that. But I guess anybody wants to do it.
Says I can question it. Question it.
To watch the video?
Okay. For some reason, with your name, everybody else's name says I can add them, but with your name, they don't let me.
Add question.
Let me see. She's not viewing right now, are you?
I can go to Facebook. Is that what I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm doing what I'm looking.
Right?
Yeah, I think that.
Weird. Okay. Yes. Tell me I can add. Do you have it set up where no one can add you on the video? Because I got my barber on here. It says I can add, but both of you guys, there's no add button. Weird.
Like this better? I did something.
Did you?
Here.
Hey. So I send it to both of you. And I can add everybody else when it comes to you. Alright. I can add him. I can add you guys. Weird. I'll just keep turning. I'll try to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't see like a notification. It says about me to watch it, but it doesn't say that you're invited me to talk on it.
Uh-huh. Probably want to turn the volume down. I'll figure it out. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Hit all the highlighted points. Okay. We'll let you all introduce yourself on the microphone.
Okay.
All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the round table, ladies and gentlemen. Another week. Sorry for any inconvenience. The holiday is tomorrow, so decided to come on this evening. I'm in the studio with 4 wonderful guests this evening. I will have them all introduce themselves, starting from my right.
Dale Roosevelt, Wellness Master Builders team.
So Dale's in the building, and I'm in the building. L.A. Williams.
All right. Hello, everybody. Crystal Brown Pinckney. And I'm here as well. Looking forward to this evening's conversation.
Cool. Slab and Sassy are not going to be able to make it tonight, but I'm sure they'll be watching or call in. So I made a post about a week ago. I made a post about a week ago. Then I got an inbox. And the inbox startled me because this is one of my teachers from 7th grade. I was like, okay, I thought it was going to be something school related. So I respond back and she says, hey, you know, I like your status, and it's corresponding with an event that they're having in August. So we started talking. So decided to bring him on the show, and I'm sure tonight is going to touch on a lot of good things. In the past, we talked about credit. In the past, we talked about like my friend Greg Burr says, doing it for yourself, doing something different. My friend Darnell Gotti always says legacy. So we're going to jump right into it. So what exactly are you to LA in the event in August also?
Yeah.
Okay, so what exactly is this event coming up in August? What exactly is the event?
Well, first of all, let me kind of just jump in, man. Definitely appreciate you having us. The crazy thing is the event, initially it was like, we want to do something with some health and wellness and cute, right? Because it was Dale actually started. We were actually in a meeting, and Kristen was talking about how she was working out, and Aima's always working out, and Dale was like, yeah, y'all need to let us, I should go walking with you one day. And we was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I need to go walking too, man. We always talking about beyond the bills. What about beyond the fat? I'm like, my stomach get kind of big, you know what I'm saying? I'm grabbing this, and I'm like, this is not cute, right? So Crystal said, yeah, it need to be an event beyond the bills, beyond the fat. That's why on our t-shirts it says beyond the bills, beyond the fat. The only thing that should be fat is your pockets. Right. And so we just wanted to run with it, just wanted to do something that was fun, something that was, eventful, something that people could really grab hold on to. Because it's a lot of folks that want to do better with their health. Am I right?
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of folks that want to do better with their money. So why not put the two together? And that's one of our thought processes. Chris, you got anything?
Yeah. Can I actually back it up a little
Yeah,
bit
sure.
before we get into the event? I want to talk about how we came up with the Beyond the Bills brand.
Okay.
It's been on my heart for several years. I think of life, and I think about how we're taught to go to school, we're taught to get a good education, we're taught to look for that dream job, and it's supposed to equal our dream life. But a lot of times that's not the case. Would you agree?
Yeah.
There's a lot of unemployed graduates, a lot of people working in fields that they didn't go to school for, right? And people are living check to not even the next check. People got more months than they got money. There's just more bills. Like, who is Bill? He keeps showing up. Like, every time you turn around, Bill is knocking on your door. And, people are working overtime, double time. They're so excited. People working tomorrow, and they're excited because they're getting double time, right? And as soon as we get the money, what are we doing with it? Paying the bill, right? So I had this passion to say, I'm going to live beyond the bill. I want to get to a point where we can pay the bill and have a whole lot of money left over. There are people that are not used to having 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 10,000 sitting in their account with no destination. It's like every dollar we get, we got to spend. And that's the mentality. So I said, we're going to come up with a brand, living beyond the bills. And then we just kind of like go with that and say beyond the bills, beyond the talk. Now we got beyond the bills, beyond the facts. So we're going to do a series of health and wealth series where we're going to talk about becoming healthy in the process of becoming wealthy. Because how much sense does it make to obtain wealth and then the health is not in order to enjoy it? Exactly. So that's kind of the background.
I read something a while ago that said like the average person, 75%, doesn't even have $1,000 in their bank account.
That's it.
That's crazy to me. Yeah. Like that's crazy.
That's crazy. Yes. 61% of Americans have no IRA. We don't tap into it. Even if we have a 401k, most people put the minimums in it. We're not really in it. Right. Our individual retirement account. There's so many stats. 1.5 million people file bankruptcy every year. Yeah. So this beyond the bills business, we need to get to a place where we can live beyond it and live in peace.
It has nothing to do with the type of job you have either. Because a lot of people just feel because you have a good job and you got an education and you graduated college and that's going to be the solution. But still, basically, the stats have proved that graduate from college, come out, a lot of people coming out in debt. These kids are coming out in thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. And then they can't even get jobs, and even when they do, they're not even making the yearly salary as what they're coming out in the debt, and then they, once you get a job, you have to keep up with the Joneses. You have to drive a certain car. You have to dress a certain way.
Not me, Jones. I'm not there yet.
Right. You know, they feel they have to do all these things. You know, you buy a house. You know, in a certain neighborhood with kids go to a certain school. So how much do you really have left? You know, your kids in daycare. How much do you really have left at the end of the day to even save for the future? So, you know, that most people aren't saving any money 10, 15 years down the road in your career or in the careers that they have chosen. They're in no better situation than what they started. That's kind of where I was at when I met Crystal. You know, 10, 15, I think it was 15 years in a career. About 15 years in. And looking back at, you know, most people I knew that had a career, and looking at them heading towards retirement, and did I want that to be me? You know, did I want to be, you know, in the same situation that my parents and other people have worked hard all those years? You know, did I want to end up like that? Because basically, that's basically where we're going to end up. I mean, you know, waiting on a paycheck, waiting on, you know, some type of social security if that's going to be there, which I doubt, very much doubt that's going to be there. How much are you saving for retirement? Most people aren't. Most people don't even get pensions today. So, you know, how much, you know, so if you're not saving, what are you going to have? And then people say, well, I'm going to keep on working. Well, how long are you going to do that? Had a conversation with someone about that. Well, I'm just going to keep on working. And now they're sick. So how long are you going to do that? Because eventually you might get sick.
Right.
And then what solutions do you have for that? So, you know, we're looking at all that, looking at this happening to people and so-called having this good job, you know, where are we eventually going to end up? So, you know, that's kind of what sparked my interest on getting involved and looking closer at really what are we doing and what are other people doing that we're not doing.
Okay. So I want to mention books all night. I started reading a lot for the last year. So I see like pay yourself first. I talked to my class today. So I teach at a fatherhood program. You know, so I teach the curriculum I'm supposed to teach. And every now and then I start talking about credit and owning houses and all. And I was telling the fathers yesterday actually that you know, we get paid and then we spend our money, pay our bills, and then try to put up what's left, but that doesn't happen. Where they get their money, they invest their money first, and then they spend what's left. So pay yourself first. Like, what are your thoughts on how do you go about paying yourself first?
So let me because an older lady once told me this, and it just really made a lot of sense to me. Right? So the whole point is that the game plan is that you want to be able to save 10% of whatever it is that you receive. Right, 10% of whatever it is that you receive. So if you get $100, right, the goal is to save $10. Right.
Right.
Now everybody knows if you get $100 and you spend $100, you're not gonna have everything you want. Right? But if you got $100 and you spend $90, you're still not gonna have everything you want. But at least you got $10, right? And so the game plan is that you want to deduct 10% of what. If I hand you $100, listen, 10 of it disappears into your, you know, account to never be touched, to not do anything, but until you decide that, you know, later on you might want to invest once that builds up. But the whole thing is you got to live your life off of 90% of your income. See, most people think right now, oh, I can never do that. I can't live my life on 100%. Well, then just make it 90% and still struggle, right? You might as well, because then you start to, if you do that 10 times in a row, then once you end up got $100, you could actually invest into do something with it. It becomes powerful enough. So the game plan is to always just, I don't care if you hand me a dime, it automatically turns into 9 cents. Right? So I'm telling you, I'm setting aside 10%. It's non-negotiable. And when you get that mindset, then here's what happens. Then your money starts to grow. And all the stuff that you thought you wanted, you'd be like I remember when I first started, right? We go to Walmart and see this TV and stuff like that. I was like, I could buy it. Right? It's a different mindset when you have it and you could do it and you decide not to do it because you know how much you work to get that money set aside. So I think that's the very beginning of paying yourself first. There's a lot of, you know, stats and different things that we talk about to show people what, you know, saving 10% of your income could actually turn into. You know, I don't care if you was getting paid only $1,000 a month. If you set aside $100 a month, we talk about it in a 9% account. Do that for 40 years straight. See how that turns into $471,000.
Can I get in, please, for the viewers?
Absolutely. And we got a visual that I don't know if Naomi can show it, but you know, there's a saying that we have. It's called a whole sheet that we teach in our presentation. It's all about paying yourself first. And let's say if you saved $100 a month for 40 years, right? $100 a month for 40 years. If you do that in just a 9% account, your money will grow to about $471,000. Right? Now here's the thing. Most people, they may not want, you know, let's say you tell somebody to start when they're 27. Well, let's say most people, that's too, I'm young, I'm spending all my money, I'm doing what I do. Okay. Yeah, right. So let's say you wait till you're 28. You're like, you know, give me a year, LA, come back and see me in a year. Well, if you save $100 a month for just 39 years, you don't get $471,000. You get $430,000, which is a loss of $41,000. Now, would anybody knowingly lose $41,000? No, right? We don't want to lose $41,000 anything, but by us not saving $1,200 little dollars over 40 years, it accrues to a loss of $41,000 that you could have had as you started the year sooner. Absolutely.
Yeah, he did a great job explaining that. So let's talk about what kind of gets in the way, because a lot of people say, well, I can't save.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we're dealing with the issue of priorities, right? So when you think about the things that we have in our homes, you know, or the things that we have, period, you know, we have cable, we got cell phones with every gadget, every plan attached to it. We got the insurances. We got our pleasure things that we like to do. We getting our hair done. We getting our nails done. Listen, I like to get my hair done. I like to get, you know, we all like to do certain things, but we got to become disciplined. And it's easier said than done, but it's necessary, especially when, see, they say experience is the best teacher. Someone else's experience is the best teacher. So if we can, you know, look ahead and see or pay attention, don't let a statistic just be a statistic. Read it with the intent to say, okay, well, if this is with the trend, if it's not a good one, then I need to make some changes. And when you take it to an African American level, you talk about what we spend a year, over $1 trillion a year. And then we talk about where we spend it, you know, technology, alcohol, you know, different fast food, processed food. I mean, it's just a whole lot of things that we do that we can cut back. So if he said $100 a month, I just won't even pull it back to $1 a day. That's where you start. $1 a day, $30 a month, right? $30 a month invested for 40 years at 12% is $300,000. But just it's not the point is most people don't have 40 years if we're dealing with someone 35 plus.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. So it's going to see the older we are, it's going to require a higher dollar to hit the goal. But we done spent the last 10, 15, 20 years spending it in places we don't have no business. So now we need to wake up, become a little bit more mature, a little bit more wiser, and we're going to have to make that decision to say, well, $200 a month invested for 35 years is $1.3 million at 12%, maybe a little over $700,000 at 9%. So we're going to have to get into the $200-300 range. We're used to doing that for a car note.
$400.
Yeah, plus the car insurance. I know some folks got $700 between car note and car insurance, right? For something that depreciates when you take it off the lot. But investments appreciate. So we have to put our money in the right places.
So I have a question for anyone. So my question is, I know what I'm saying to my little brothers and sisters, but you know, we're saying 25, 27, but does it make sense as a parent to start this for your child at like 10, 8, so they come out?
At birth.
Okay.
At birth.
Yeah, because 40 years, if you tell somebody, I'm 35, so you tell me 40 years, I'm like, I'm not going to be here in 40 years. Maybe not. And if I am, what am I really going to do with a 1.2 million?
But we also got to learn, to have delayed gratification.
Right.
That's not something we're used to.
Right.
It's very hard for us to embrace because we want everything that we want it now. And we want to see it. You can't see investments because it takes time for them to develop. But it's a mindset change. The very point that he was making earlier. If we do better, we do better. Well, once you get the education, then we actually have to apply it. Because the knowledge is not powerful, it's the application of the knowledge. So once we get it, then we have, and then once they say, what is it now? Is it 21 days or they stretched it?
It's about 35 days.
35 days, you do something for 35 days. It's not 21 no more.
Because all the distractions are just
Man, I thought it was money on it.
Yeah.
You think like you
And
said
there's a
at
deep
birth.
reason why. We ain't gonna go into it, but there's a deep reason why it's actually
What you gonna say?
At birth, like I know when I'm talking to younger people, young mothers, you figure I think about all those birthday presents that my daughter got.
Oh, my mom was
I
watching
don't
this.
remember any of that.
Come on, that's
So,
good, Dale.
I tell all the young people, anyone having babies, instead of that $40 gift, $20 gift, and $20 towards an investment.
Hot. That's
And
hot.
if you do that from the time you start from the shower, if you
From
start
the baby
from the
shower.
baby shower, you open up that
Yes.
investment. You send out the invitation. You send out that information, and you let people know. You send it to the investment. Those kids do not remember when they get 21 what gift you gave them when they were 4 years old.
Not at all.
They have no idea. They don't, but they will remember that bank account that they received
At
when 21 years old.
whatever.
They will
Now
remember
we talking
that.
about generational wealth. Now we talking about leaving a legacy.
Okay.
And then, just to kind of throw this, to sprinkle this on top of it, see, we always think that the money that we save got to come out of our regular income. How come, the crazy thing is that when we talk to people about how about you just make more money? That's another solution that you could do that people, I can't, but you don't really want it. Like, what's up? We gotta do it one way or another.
Right.
So first, let me read the 7 keys to how money works.
Okay.
Just because we're kind of hitting it, and I want to give some exact details. So
let's do this real quick, Chris. I'm sorry. Do we have some viewers out there?
Yeah, we do.
We got some. So if you guys want to hear, because listen, these are the 7 keys to like really getting your money straight. What do you call it, Chris? The 7 keys to how money works. So if you want to hear the first one, I want you to put a number 1 in the comments. Just put a number 1 in the comments, and we'll share with you what the very first thing you got to do if you want to understand and truly get how money works. So if you put a number 1 in the comments, put a number 1 in the comments. You got any number 1s coming up?
Look, they watching, but they not listening. Type the number 1 in there.
Okay, all right, good. So Chris, you can get the first one.
All right, number 1, we've been talking about it, and just pay yourself first.
That's it.
That's the first rule to how money works. How is it going to work unless you work it for you?
Mm-hmm.
You're too busy paying bills. So you said it earlier, Percy. You got to put you first and then handle the other stuff. So pay yourself first. Now we need with a number 2.
You need a number 2. You want to get a number 2.
Can we
get a number 2 in the comments? Let me get a number 2. Since we talked about that one first, just we had to get y'all that one. But if you give me a number 2, then we'll give you the second thing that it takes to really understand how money works. This is the kind of stuff that just mom and grandma, they didn't necessarily teach us this stuff, not because they didn't want to, they just didn't know.
That's
right. So let
a couple 2s now.
Okay, all right.
All right. So number 2, we've been talking about that too. Adjust your priorities. Listen, guys, start off small. Just make some minor. They say the difference between winning and losing is so small that it appears ridiculous. So it's an adjustment you don't make because you think that small change won't make a difference. Yes, it will. Mm-hmm. Just make a minor adjustment in your spending habits. Okay, if you're eating out 4 days a week, cut it down to 2. Right? If you're not shopping as healthy or buying the right kind of foods, change where you buy your foods. It's different things that we can do to make adjustments so that we can get this to work for us. Going out, do a reward system for yourself. If you got some career goals, things that you're doing, you can award yourself some pleasure time. But get on your grind and do your business. Do what you got to do, and not always be looking for some way to be entertained. We always look for somewhere to go, some concert to see, some performer to watch. And we just spending money unnecessarily when we could be redirected that money to something more important, like our future or our children's future.
Let me chime in real fast. So, 2 things. So, adjust your priorities. So, eating out. I tend to go to work. I go to the corner store. I get a breakfast sandwich. I go to the other corner store at the other end and get lunch. So, I guess about maybe 3 months now, what I do is, unless I'm like really, really hungry, I try to make my own lunch, like whatever I make for dinner, bring it the next day. But if I don't, what I do is I will literally go online banking. If I'm gonna get something, I'll transfer about what it would be, and I put it in my savings. And that's what I do now. So that's what I started
So
doing.
instead of spending it, you
I
transfer
transfer it
it
to my savings, and then I don't
So
touch
I
my
spend it,
savings.
but I spend it on me.
Right.
Boom.
Because years ago, I don't know if y'all remember,
Somebody had to be paid for making that money.
Yeah.
Why not me?
it used to be a hula hand, a meeting, hula hand.
Yeah, I remember.
So we used to go there. It used to be like a party every Thursday. They had the picture Long Island. I invite everybody out. And then one day I just looked at my online banking, legit, maybe in a month, I probably spent almost like $800 on hula hands.
Wow. Hula hands, thank you. So,
Yeah.
Just like, you know,
So-
their children and children's children are thanking you and the other 100 people that did the same exact thing.
So adjusting your priorities.
That's it.
I haven't been doing it too long, but I started doing it.
Hey, over 35 days, right?
Yeah.
You over 35 days?
Yeah, I'm almost at that 40.
Come on now.
Almost at
So
that
you start to have a new trend. And if you have children,
I don't.
okay, you got friends and family, you got everybody watching.
I got
So
all
you're
my
an
little sisters
example.
and brothers.
Yeah, you got your program. You do your job. All right, we need number 3.
I need three.
We need number 3. The third key to how money works. Can we get another 3?
Yeah, you gotta get because listen, it's starting to get more and more intense, and so if you want to hear about exactly what you need to do, I know the first 2. Sometimes the first couple of ones seem kind of obvious, but as it goes along, they're going to get more and more intense and more, just a little bit deeper, where you're going to be like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, this one is different.
So
I think you down with this. Change your thinking.
That's major.
All the things. What you think about, you bring about. All that. So I'm gonna turn that one over to LA.
Okay.
Deal with that thing.
Change your thinking. Listen, they talk about how thoughts become things, and people are like, oh, that's so deep. That's so. How in the world does that happen? Well, your thoughts control how you feel. Right? If you think about something, whether it's positive or negative, then you start to feel this. Either you get excited. People get excited on Friday. That's because they're thinking about the weekend. Right? So the thoughts about the weekend gave them the feeling of excitement. But when people think about Monday, what do they kind of do? They get depressed. Y'all realize the highest level of suicides happen on Mondays because folks are depressed because they don't want to go back to work. Wow. It's sad, right? But it's all because of what they're thinking about. They're thinking about going back to, being somebody's whatever, right? And working on their job and building their dreams for other people. They may not even think it so deeply, but they're like, man, I'm not living the life that I want to live these next 5 days, so I'm upset about this. So folks, it's sad. So your thoughts control your feelings, right? Here's the thing. Your feelings control your actions. Based on how you feel, it talks about what you do, right? And so, man, I'm telling you, if you feel good, then you end up doing really good things. Right, so you got to change your thinking. Your thinking has to impel you to make good decisions because your feelings control your actions, and your actions control your results. Right, because you felt a certain type of way, or you thought a certain thing was going to bring you a certain level of pleasure. You did a certain thing, and then they gave you that result. And a lot of times, it's not what you really wanted. And so, if we learn to change our thinking, man, it changes everything else.
And what helps with changing our thinking too is what we read.
Yeah.
What are we digesting? What information are we getting exposed to? You got to get exposed to. There's an awesome book written by a guy named Kelvin Boston. I think it's a fantastic book, especially for minority African Americans in particular. I want to help everybody, but I definitely rep us because I feel like we work hard, but we don't always work smart. Mm-hmm. So Kelvin Boston wrote a book called Smart Money Moves for African Americans. Smart Money Moves for African Americans.
Put that in the comments.
And what that's about, he in the beginning of the book, he talks about the trappings of success. He says that African Americans get caught in the trappings of success. See, if you remember back in the 90s, I'm an 80s baby, 90s baby. Do you remember when Perry Ellis used to be on the back of your jacket real big, and Adidas real big? Oh man, you ain't never seen nobody with a what's it called? Jumpsuit, and it had the name of the name brand. It was Ralph Lauren Polo. If it was Adidas, if it was Paris, it was real big on the back. Do you know they made that for us? Absolutely, because white folks been wearing Ralph Lauren forever with the little polo on the side that nobody could see. Because we get caught up in the trappings. We want everybody to see us, and we want to look like we something on the outside. So we look good with our clothes and the things that we wear, but then we check our bank accounts, they don't match.
Right.
So, the trappings of success, the things that make you look good, then our history kind of gets into that. We've come from a history of just surviving and just getting by. And so we try to overcompensate. Some of us try to overcompensate with the things that we purchase. So that's an awesome book. There are some other books. You Gotta Think Like a Winner. That's an excellent book.
How you change your thinking. Listen,
Millionaire Mind. Yep. The Millionaire Mind. That's an awesome book. I mean, there's tons of books that help you change your thinking. Your thinking is what it is based off of what's inside of you. So we have to put new things in so we can get new things out. So we can move on to the next one.
Real quick, I'm just going to give you this. Like, one of the things that we don't do is we don't buy books, right? And it's amazing. We spend so much money on everything else, whether it's food, whether it's liquor, whether it's toys, whether it's gifts, whether it's cars, right? Trillions and trillions of dollars. Again, I talk about this stuff. But when it comes to books, we spend about 1/10 of what we spend everywhere else, right? And it's crazy because books are one of the most undervalued things. If you want to get wealthy, you spend your money on undervalued things, right? Things that people think are low value, but are actually pretty high. That's why Jay-Z said it. He said, listen, I bought some artwork for $1 million. A few years later, that thing worth $2 million, right? 3 years later, that thing worth $8 million. I can't wait to get this to my children, right? Because you invest in things that are undervalued and they grow in value, and that's how you do it. So phenomenal stuff. Just changing your thinking. Just a little bit of thinking changing.
Dr. Miles Monroe.
Yes, that's the one.
He talked some years ago about how you can go to the corner store first. You can get a box of chicken. You can love chicken wings, right? You go down to the chicken store, whatever, get us 4 or 5, give me 6 pieces, give me 8 pieces. And that food will stay in your system for 24 or 48 hours, and then it's coming out. But if you get a book, it can stay in your system for the rest of your life. He said that every year he had a budget of between $5,000 and $7,000 on this book. And that's the changing the mind. That's mindset. Yep. Mindset thinking. Number 4.
Number 4. Wait. We need some number 4, y'all. So now we're getting deep. I need a number 4 and a share. So you can't just hit a number 4. You have to share this with your people. So hit number 4 and hit a share. We really getting deep now. I know y'all feel it.
We got a 4.
We got to share though. That's the key. You can't just
we need to share as well. We got a couple 4s.
I need you to share it. So it's number 4 and a share. Number 4 and a share. You got to share. And I want to see somebody say, such and such, share the post. Number 4 and a share. So in the meantime, we can sing songs. Because listen, this is some valuable information, and you don't want to just keep it to yourself, right? That's one of our challenges as people. We keep stuff to ourselves. When this is listen, we tell people about the Beyonce concert, the crab sale, and all kind of stuff like that. But when it comes to financial information, it's like, let's not be like that. No, what did Jay say? He said, listen, I don't want a slice of the apple pie. I want the whole cake. You know what I'm saying?
Share.
Okay, so we got to share. We got to share.
All right, so number 4. Thank you, Erica. You got to adjust your lifestyle. Got to adjust your lifestyle.
That's a tough one now.
It is.
Hard.
You want me to do what?
I've done that recently, but it's hard.
You can give me some great examples.
No, it's hard. I was talking to, you remember Brandon Gardner?
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to Brandon Gardner. He, dude up here is a genius. So talking to him today, actually, and, for months now, he's like, person, you're always busy, but what are you doing for you? Like, when are you going to slow down? Like, stop doing so much. You're giving out so much, but then you're not doing nothing for yourself. And he put me on a couple of books, and it's like, before I came here, I got out of work at 3. I sat at home till 8 o'clock. But typically, I'll be on the go. I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to sit here. I started reading a book.
It's extremely important because how can you continue to give if you're not filling yourself up? Right? You gotta fill you gotta, and listen, that's how your cup actually overflows, right? Because now you've gotten so much, you receive, and then you start to give out, and then your cup ends up filling up even more. Man. So yeah, you're doing the right thing in the giving aspect of it, but don't give and not receive. So it's such a some people only want to receive, and then some people want to give, but it's about the both of it, right? There's a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel. Huge, man. Listen, you want to talk about really understanding the rules of the game of life? What?
I'm gonna need y'all to text me all these titles and all
that. Put them in the comments. Listen, you need to listen. if y'all care about a person, listen. I know y'all listen to his radio show and stuff like that. The man is telling you he needs some help. If we sell you a book title or something like that, write it in the comments so not only he can see it, but other folks can see it. Because if we just saying this stuff, then folks got to go back and listen. That's more time. There's only 86,400 seconds in a day. Once they're gone, they're gone. So we might as well help each other out, right? Let's go ahead and write the name of the books and the title. So, okay, cool. Appreciate it. Who is that? Give him a shout out. Give him a shout out. Give him a shout out. Who is that?
Erica, thank you, Miss Erica.
Listen, Erica's the bomb. Like, look, we need to bring her on the show. You know what I'm saying? Superstar Erica.
So, number five.
Number five. Now, since she put the book in there, I'm gonna go on to number 5 since she put the name of the book. Let's go.
Okay, great. This one's big because see, we talked about earlier living check to check, not even to the next check. There's more month than there is money, all of that. And LA kind of hit it briefly when he said, we always try to make do with what we are earning. Why not find a way to earn more income, right? And so the fifth how money works key, the fifth key to how money works is earning additional income. Don't settle. You gotta pay yourself first, but you also should have your own business. Have multiple streams of income. That is the key today. Is that and we got to get to a point where we have money being made outside of our own effort, where it's not always self-generated. So there's two types of income: there's passive income and there's active income. And most of us are very, very intimately familiar with active income. So you physically got to be there. You physically got to do the work to get that check. But if we can get into the passive income world, if we can get to the place where money's being made, as we say, with our hands in our pocket, if we can get to the place where you can get what's called override income that's leveraged through the efforts of other people. And it's not that we're not familiar, we're just familiar on the wrong side. Because we're the ones that's being leveraged by being an employee working for someone else. So I'm not knocking having a job. We all need one. We all need a source of income. But we're talking about earning additional income. If we had an extra 1,000 to 3,000 a month coming in consistently every 30 days, if there's debt, we'd have a way to pay it off faster. If we had 1,000 to 3,000 coming in extra, we'd be able to save for that IRA that we're talking about. Fully funded IRAs, $458 a month, $5,000 a year, tax-free money in a Roth, right? We'd be able to talk about becoming financially independent. Financial independence is having a net worth of $5 million or more. Who's having that conversation at the dinner table? Who's talking about being that free?
I'm happy you just said dinner table.
Yes.
Like, I guess so I run the youth football, cheerleading and football program.
Yeah.
And I got started last year, and I would ask the parents that's just standing around, I would say, when you have dinner at home, how is dinner made? And they all look at me like, I say, you sit on a table, do you all sit down? 80-90% they all say everybody just grab their plate, go to the couch, what they do. And I actually got this off a TV show. I'm a big fan of Billions, but important conversations to me happen at the dinner table. No electronics, no TV on. Actually talking, and don't just say, hey, Zaire, how was school, and get a one-word answer. Like, no, you got to articulate. You got to tell me what happened. What did you learn in science class? Ask questions. So one of my friends, one of the Blackwell twins, we already got like a month ago, he was like, yo, Percy, since you asked me that, he was like, now when we had dinner, there's no phone, no iPad. He's like, now I'm talking and I'm really engaging. He's like, at first his kids was like, now like they look forward to it.
They spend time.
I tested it out this year. Okay. I had 3, I still teach full time. So I have 3 classes, different levels. But I had a class that was high level. So I wanted to see what happened. So I asked each one of my classes who sat down with the family and ate dinner. And I just asked each class the same question. And the class with the kids that had the high level kids, most of the kids in that class hand went up. Now I would love to do a study on that as to why most of the kids in that particular class, where were all the high kids, they were all in that class because of high test scores, and they all had a special math class. So they all in that class. I would say 80% of the kids' hands went up and said that they had dinner time together almost every night with their family. versus the other two classes where, I had regular kids, level kids, where I would say maybe 10% of the kids' hands went up. I said, now that would be an awesome study to do. I said, why so many kids' hands went up in a class where, the kids were,
It's not about why. It's a simple fact, Dale. You just did the study, right? So if you want your kids to be smart, be on a high level, it's an indicative fact. She just told you what the difference is. Wow. Have dinner with your children. Talk to them. Have conversations, right? And if you want your kids to not have that stuff, then don't do it.
Yeah. And one more thing you said about the passive income. So I started my first year at Dell State, and I joined a network marketing company. And it was all about you get a paycheck on the 1st to 15th, etc. So I guess the first part of my 20s, I was probably in every network marketing company you think of. Okay. And then I finally hit one where started getting a check on the 1st. It was every Friday. It was on the 15th of the month. And then, I would go to my friends with the check and be excited, like, yo, I just made $220 4 months straight. And then still to this day, I think my highest check might have been like $800 a month. Mm-hmm. But now I don't do anything, but all my efforts that I did, I still get like about $220 a month from doing nothing. Right. So
it kind of reminds me of my story, man. It's interesting because you share that. My very first month, understanding or really kind of getting access to, outside income and things like that. It was, $1,300 I made first month. And I was like, not really excited about that because I was already making $60 an hour.
Okay.
So, but then my second month, I was able to make $800 not doing a single thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wait a minute. Right? What if I can get that 800 to 8,000? Right. What if I get that 8,000 to 80,000? I think, one of the things that network marketing is really cool, but I think that sometimes, it gets a bad rap and a bad name because, of certain companies that are, structured like network marketing. It ain't no real money. I mean, $100, $200, things like that. But honestly, every business is structured that way. You just got to begin to play with bigger chips, right? And so that 220, that it really should be, 22,000. Right, it really should be that, but it's just depending on the product, depending on the company, depending on who it is that you were. All there's other factors. But I think sometimes when we get access to this different type of information, we get excited about there's so many people I see and they be excited about $50, $100. I made $100 out doing it. No, you can do the same exact thing, and make 1,000. You can do the same thing and make 10,000. And so it's just people having access to the right information. That's what I think.
All right, let's close this out.
I need somebody to type in a 6.
We need a 6, baby.
6.
We get into the home stretch. You know what I'm saying? We get into the
6 and some
stretch. Oh, he said 6 and some shares. He said 6 and shares. 6 and shares.
Get that first 6.
We need to see some 6s. If you guys listen, because if you're not getting value, please tell us. We want to know. We're like totally transparent people sitting here talking about, building, living beyond the bills, right? Doing something different when it comes to our finances. So if this is not valuable information, please just let us know. We'll change the subject. We talk about dogs and cats. You know what I'm saying?
And I can't wait till we get to 6.
But if it's valuable, then that's the only reason why we're asking you to put a 6 and we're asking you to share it. Because again, valuable information, it deserves to be shared. Why would we want to keep something like this to ourselves?
We got a 6.
Now, do we have to share it?
We got to share it as
well. Okay. Number 6, we have to avoid the credit trap. Woo! You had something to say about that.
So for my viewers who tune in often, I always talk about credit, and actually put up a stat a couple months ago. Some people got mad at me because I said I'm not going to date a woman who doesn't have at least 600 credit score. And if y'all know credit, that's not even that high. But I got so many inboxes saying, "How could you say that? Why would you say that?" Or you're just hyped because I post my score. I'm like a 675 right now. I'm being 700 end of the summer, but November of 18. November, maybe 2 years ago, I was a 504. I always thought that if I had 20 grand, I was cool. Like I didn't care about credit. I started going in stores, and it's like, I go to a jewelry store, you want to apply for a card, I just do it just because. Hit you with the, oh, you'll get a letter in the mail telling you why. So after I got a lot of them, I'm like, all right, whatever. And then, shout out to my mentor, Mr. Wilson. And also shout out to Brandon Gardner again. Like, those are the two main people who told me, like, credit is everything. Like, it don't matter if you got 20 grand, 30 grand. So, and my friend Aaron Clark as well. So the whole thing with credit, so I got myself from a 505 with the help of Aaron to like a 675 now. But I'm just seeing how everything is changing. Like right now, I probably got like $1,200 in like debt. Like that's it. But from where I started, it was like crazy. But I'm just seeing how like, using my credit card at 30% or 20%. When before, if the limit was 1,000, I owed $920. And then I'm like, damn, my minimum payment is 100 plus. Now my minimum payments are like $25.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, because part of that check, I told my class, most of us live 14 days. So you it's either pay my electric bill or pay my credit card bill. I'm gonna pay my electric bill. But I'll let you guys talk about.
All right, I got a stat for you on avoiding the credit trap. There's two types of debt. There's revolving debt and then there's fixed debt.
Explain.
Okay, so revolving debt is credit card debt. Okay. It's the interest revolves on a daily basis. So if you have an 18% credit card,
25,
24.99, 25, 26, that interest is accruing daily. And so I'm going to use an example of an 18% card. Let's say you had $3,000 balance, 18% credit card. It's going to take you 10 years to pay it off, and it's going to cost you $2,000 in interest. Whatever you purchased at $3,000, you pay $5,000 for. Okay, and that's if you have one. So what happens if you have 6, 7, or 8? So repeat that 6, 7, or 8 times. And so what you do, people say in debt, always in debt. That's a cliche that people have in this world today. And the devil is a liar, right? So we're not going to go with that. You can live debt free. And see, debt, we call debt cancer. What happens first if you have cancer and you don't get cured? You die. Cancer kills. Well, so does debt. See, a lot of people, when we're talking about change the way you think, it's very hard to change the way you think when you feel choked between the bills you have and the debts that you've accrued. And see, broke is relative. You could be broke at 30,000 or broke at 130,000. Right. So you just have a better, a more flashier lifestyle, but your debt to income ratio is still way too high, and so therefore you still have a problem. So people can look good on like I said before, on the outside, but on the inside, debt kills. If we can redirect, we do a free report called a financial needs analysis. Free. I said FREE. Okay, we do a free report that if we can list all your debts and we can show you how to debt stack. Debt stacking will take someone who is not on track to get out of debt for 15, 20, 30 years and get them out of debt 3, 4, 6, 8 years. It'll take 10 to 15 years off of your debt horizon. And most people don't even know when they're going to be out of debt. We'll put all the debts in there into the show based on the way you're paying your debts. You won't be out of debt till this day, this time. But then through this debt stacking program, we'll then show you how we can switch it. I just did it for a client 5 days ago. We took them from, they weren't going to be out of debt to 2031. They're going to be out of debt now by 2019.
So they're definitely change their life, change their thinking, adjust their lifestyle for sure.
Adjusting the lifestyle because that lifestyle got out of control. I'm also talking to the wife about increasing her income because based on where you're at right now, they can't pay all the debt. So even if we come up with this debt stacking program, you shouldn't settle for it. She's talking about doing overtime. I said, no, you need a business. So she's taking me up on that, and we're gonna put that together and make it happen.
Someone just said a free financial report and put the eyes up. I guess they're interested in
free financial needs analysis.
Free financial needs analysis.
Crystal should be text. Should be tagged in this post. So well, what we can do is we can actually we'll friend request you and you'll hear from one of us. And
y'all can put my phone number in the text put my phone number in there.
Yeah. So matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that. So this is awesome. So make sure and just reach out to her directly. And so let me just really give you guys, because credit is one of those things that most of us don't understand. We don't know how it works. We don't know the rules. See, in credit, I became a credit expert even before I started working with this team back in 2007 because of just wanting to really understand. Now, here's the thing about credit. When you're playing the credit game, there's 86 things that count against you and 6 things that count for you. 86 things that lower your credit score and 6 things that will, raise your credit score. Let's talk about one of the very first things that people misunderstand. You get $1,000 card, right? Most people are going to spend, 6, 7, 8, 900, right? Mm-hmm. Huge mistake. That's one of the number one things that you can do to lower your credit score, right? You need to keep that. And I know it made people might look at it as being unfair or whatever, but it's the game. So you're not ever supposed to spend more than 33% of what's available, right? So if you got $1,000 card, you don't need to let that credit card go over 300. I mean, that's just that you got to look at yourself. Oh, I got a $300 limit. Because as soon as you let it creep up in that 400, 500, 600, your credit score begins to drop, and you're like, "What am I doing? What's wrong?" Right? You don't know the name of the game. Here's the other thing, right? And folks get mad at me saying it, but listen, creditors do not respect credit cards that come from stores. Okay. Creditors do not. No, they totally don't respect it. Okay. As a matter of fact, you get your Old Navy card, they go, "Oh, you don't got real credit, low income credit score," right? They want you to have, the only ones they respect are you going to talking about bank card, Visa, right? Direct from Visa or from a bank, from a Wells Fargo, from a Chase, from something like that. The only ones that actually have, I don't know, they got some sort of relationship is like a Sears card, right? That's respected as a real credit, right? Because people need to get, appliances and things like that. Mm-hmm. That's really one of the only cards. I think there might be another, but if any of them other store cards that you got, don't think that they've crossed over. Don't think they've crossed over. And so what you have to do is I don't want, 7 cards from 7 different stores that have $1,000 limit. I want a card that has a $10,000 limit. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That way I can play the game. So the game is, I got my $10,000 card. Okay, I'm moving on, whatever the situation may be. Now, trust me, I got the cash, but I'm going to spend about $3,000 on my card, right? So that they can see, look, I spent 30%, right? Uh-huh. Then I'm going to pay about $2,500. Okay. So now what's left on it is about 5%, right, of what my balance actually was. So what I do is you keep rotating, keep rolling your credit between 5 and 9% in the low end. Don't pay down to 0. That's going to hurt you. People don't know it. That's going to hurt you, right? 1% is better than 0, right? Because of the mathematical equations of how it works. But the best numbers is pay it down to about 5, 9% and spend the money again, right? Spend it up to about 30% because they want to think that they can get you. Now the game is you're supposed to have the cash to always pay it off, right?
So pay it off the next month.
Yeah, pay it off the next month, but only pay it down to 5%. Right, and then split it up again to 30, and then pay it down to 5%. That's the game, right? That's the game of credit that a lot of people don't know, don't understand. That's how you get your credit score to continue to rise.
So the only way that can happen is see a lot of people use credit cards because they don't have cash.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the reason. So what your whole concept is based off of the pay yourself first principle. Mm-hmm. It's based off of adjusting your priorities. It's based off of changing your thinking. It's based off of adjusting your lifestyle and earning that additional income. LA, in particular, we all have multiple streams of income. But he works with us in business, but he also is a music producer, and he also has another career as a consultant. So he has 3 streams of income. And he's married. His wife has an income, so that's 4 streams of income in that household. So you can do more with 4 streams than you can with 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely.
So you can play the game that he's talking about when you realize cash is ultimately king, and that's how it works. So I'm gonna go on to number 7. Right, I'm really hyped because I got something I want to say about number 7.
Number 7 is going to be the biggest thing. So this is going to be a tough one. So I want you guys to are here, right? Because if you're really getting some value and you don't want today to end, right? Then there's something that you probably want to be like connected with us. You probably want to be on our mailing list. You probably want to be, connected. So what I want you to do is I want you to and you put this in the group, right? Put this in the comments, right? You're gonna put 474747. So not just a 7, you got to put 474747. Because I'm gonna at the end I'm gonna tell you a secret word that you can text to that number, and man, it's going to set your financial life in Ooh, I'm telling you, you want to talk about everything changes when you get connected with this secret word that you're gonna text to that number 474747. Man, you're gonna be like, wow, when you're gonna look back to July 2nd, 2018 and say, wow, that was the day, that was the moment that changed. So are they putting it in the comments 474747? Okay, it's in the comments. So then we're gonna tell you number 7, and before the end of this broadcast, I'm gonna give you the secret word that you're gonna text to that number. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, so number 7, I can just hit it down, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is the ultimate goal of how money works. You have to set goals and you have to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
people don't
plan to fail, they fail to plan.
That's it.
We spend more time planning a vacation than we do our entire financial life. Okay, I'm going to Dubai December 2019.
I got a cruise.
And we got a payment plan, and we on that like nobody's business.
Yep.
And we working that overtime and that extra time and that part-time job so we can make sure it gets paid because we want to feel good. Everybody wants to be entertained. We want to be able to have a reward for all this hard work. But you know what a reward is? It's some stats. That's a nice reward. Putting some money away, right? So this is what I want to share. There's a threefold investment strategy to become financially safe. Okay, number 1, we have to have an emergency fund. Okay, an emergency fund should be 3 months of your net income.
I was doing the work for 6.
Okay, that's the second account.
Okay.
I ain't get there yet.
Okay.
So you got your emergency fund, which is actually emergency. Car, refrigerator,
Happened to me.
you know, roof, you know, something along those lines.
Okay.
An emergency. So 3 months of your net income. Then you got to have your short term, what we call it, rainy day fund, and that's 6 months.
Okay.
So separate. So you got a 3-month account. Now you got a 6-month account. So that's actually 9 months.
Yeah.
Right? 3, 6, and then you got to have your long-term retirement strategy, which is retirement. Okay. And here's what I want to say real quick about retirement. Then I'll back it up. Let's take a look at how long people are staying on jobs. Some people, what do you think the average length of time right now, Percy, is someone's at a particular job?
5 years.
5 years, 3 to 5 years. So if you're at a job, 5 years is not a lot of time, correct? So if you just get invested in 5 years. So if we're changing jobs every 3 to 5 years or 5 to 7 years, how much retirement is being developed? Not much. And then let's say someone is somewhere for 7 to 10 years or 10 to 15. When they leave, what do you think? At least 50% of those that leave a job after 10 to 15 years, what do you think they do with the money that was in their 401k?
They cash out.
They cash
They need
out.
to live.
They cash out. Well, why do they need to live? Because you're leaving.
They want to save probably.
Right. We now I severed ties with that company, so now it seems a little more easier for me to pull this money as opposed to roll it over. Now you do have some that do that, and I applaud them big time when they do it because now you got to start all over. So that long-term investment strategy needs to be in place. And if you are that person that's transferred from job to job, or if you were the person that had to pull the money out, and I understand the reason why we had to do it because there was no emergency fund, no rainy day fund, so your retirement became that fund. And so that's the point. If we have all three, then we can minimize the need to have to do this what people have been doing. Again, someone else's experience is the best teacher. That's been done over and over again, and that's not working. So we're going to change our thinking. We got to change our habits. So we have to start today. You can't do anything about the past. The only purpose of the past is a lesson, and you don't lose it if you learn the lesson. But we lose if we just keep repeating bad habits, right? So if we can get a new habit, and now start from today, I'm going to start my emergency fund. I'm going to start my rainy day fund, and then I'm going to get my retirement rocking. And we do all of that. We set all those up for as little as $50 a month or $250 lump sum to get an account started.
I have a question online. Would this be for a 2-person household? I'm assuming the emergency fund 6 month long-term time is what they're referring to.
Well, it depends on what the household can do. It was individualized. So, but if you put the joint income, the joint family income, so if it's a 2-person household, and let's say their income is $7,000 a month between the two of them, the typical that emergency fund should be $21,000.
Okay.
Right, and then 6 months should be what's that? $42,000. Now, I always tell people, I mean, some of these numbers, especially if you're dealing with a 2-person household, they can get large. So even if you can't hit that, can you do 50%? So if the goal was 21,000 for 2, then do it about 14. What's half 21? 10, 5, sorry. So 10, 5. I had the 7s in my head. But anyway, yeah, so the goal will be 21, but okay, can we do 10, 5? Because if you're starting at 0, or if you got 2 or 3 grand or 5 grand and you can double it, anything you do that puts you further than where you are right now is progress. So we always tell people do 50% of it, whatever is being suggested if you can't actually hit the whole. And that's where the additional income comes in again.
It can be done. People think that they can't do it, but it can be done. It's all about time and consistency. Time and consistency. So,
yep.
Huge.
So that was number 7.
Yeah. So real fast. So number 7, right? So I guess,
set goals and have.
So not my new place, but where I'm living before. What I did was I painted my middle bedroom. I bought this paint from like Staples. You can write on your wall.
Okay.
Because I started reading and talking to more different people, and they all said, "Well, put it in a book or something." So I would write a marker on my wall, my little 3, 6, 9 month goals. Every time I did something, I'm cross it off, erase it, put something else up. Now my friends are like, "Why writing on your wall?" But they didn't know I painted them. It was a certain kind of painting. But like, I don't got a person where I need to see it, and I need to see it. It's like right in front of my face.
Listen, if you can see a target, this is a blind. If you can see a target, it makes you 80% more likely to hit it. Okay. You're 80% more likely to hit. So that's not, that's not just to you personally. I'm telling you, that's how it works in life. And see, so there's been studies that have been done, right? Like they'll talk about how she like to do studies with school kids, And what happened was they talked to a group of kids about making sure that they write their goals down, right? Making sure that they write their goals down, making sure they write their goals down. And then there was another group of people that they never really, they just let them kind of live life and do whatever it is that they want to do. Well, what ended up happening is at graduation, right? Each of the people that were writing their goals down, 97% of them hit the goal. 97% of them. Yeah. Out of the half of the class that was taught to write their goals down, 97% of them hit the goal. 97%. That's like it's darn near foolproof. Right? Yeah. And then folks that didn't have no goals, listen, what you having down? We talking less than 10% of they're not going to because if you don't have a destination anywhere, it's fine. Right? You got to kind of imagine your life like a ship, right? So you're a ship, and if you put a ship out there, right? If you give it a destination, you say, hey, listen, we sailing to Jamaica. We know where we're going, right? The chances that you're going to get to Jamaica are pretty darn high, right? But if you just put a ship on the water and just let the water take you wherever, then you don't know where you're going. You're going to end up on some deserted island. It might capsize. You just never know what's going to happen. So you have to have a destination, and like Chris just said, you got to have a roadmap. It's the same thing. You got to have a roadmap. And in order to get a roadmap, it's like we see when Crystal mentioned that financial GPS, right? That financial needs analysis. It is a financial GPS. That's what it is. It's going to give you turn by turn directions and say, hey, listen, if you do exactly this, you're going to get to your goal. And here's the challenge. A GPS knows it's a couple of different things. The GPS, you got to tell it where you want to go. It knows how to get you there, but something else that it knows where you are. Right? It knows where you are. So that's the one question that folks just got to be honest about. Let's talk about where you are. Right?
We don't take real pictures.
We don't
take real pictures of where we are. This stuff is very stressful, especially if you have a high debt situation. Avoidance. What happens when the bills come in? We put them on the side. We don't open them. Phone people call them. We don't answer the phone. All kinds of stuff goes on, and we've all been there. But the key is not that you're there; is what you're willing to do to get out of it. It's the steps that you take to get out of it. And so that's the message right now. Is to set a goal, and Elaine was hitting it real hard when he was talking about you got to build it in your mind, put it on paper, and then execute. Those are the 3 steps. Thoughts are things. So what you think about, you bring about. So if you talking about becoming debt free, and you keep talking about becoming debt free, or if you talk about pay myself first. I mean, you're a great example. Something clicked, something got to you at some point personally. You made a decision that I can't keep. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So at some point, you evaluated the old you and said, "Look, I want to change," and nothing changes until what? Something changes.
I look. What happened was one of the main thing was I was trying to get a new place, and I was trying to go to apartment complexes. And I want to live a certain kind of way. They was like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no?
Right.
And I finally started clicking like, it's your credit. I'm like, well, I got cash, my first, last security. I don't care. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna be told no more.
I'm not gonna be told no.
I'm not gonna tell you no.
And just like when we go even when we go on these vacations, we go to an amusement park and then we tell our kids, no, you can't have that. You can't have that. You can have one hot dog, not two. You can have, there's limits on what we should be able to live epic lifestyles. We should be able to, there's nothing wrong with having a good time and giving great experiences for your family, but let's not do it while we're in debt. You know what I mean? Let's find a way to do that and be financially safe and be in a good place.
Making them think that they live in a lifestyle, or making them think they live in a lifestyle that's not really realistic. There's a lot of that going on. They think that they're living a lifestyle that's real, and then these kids are out here thinking that they're living a lifestyle, and then they get out of school and they're like, "What? I can't do this." And a lot of that's going on, where their parents are in debt or buying things they shouldn't have bought, and now there's a whole generation of kids, young kids, who are trying to keep up with what was going on, and now they can't because they thought they were actually living a lifestyle that's not realistic.
No, I'm glad you said that. So again, my fatherhood program, right? I always talk to my fathers and I say, I don't buy my little brothers Jordans or LeBrons and that.
Okay.
And it gets into a heated debate, even in the barbershop. I'm like, why would I spend $180 for my 10-year-old brother's sneakers that he's going to dog, or I'm going to tell him he can only wear them if he go out somewhere? So like they tried to make jokes with me one day. So I left the barbershop and I went to pay less, so I bought 202 and I bought me a pair of champions. It's like, well, you're not gonna wear them, and now I wear my champions like they're LeBrons and Jordan. They're comfortable, and they cost me $23.
Come on, guys.
What I need, I'm still Percy Jones, whether I got Jordans on or if I got champions on. So Zaire's gonna still be Zaire Jones, whether he got LeBron or champions. Trying.
So, Percy, I'm gonna run through these other things real quick. I just got a couple things, and then I wanted to see if we can go back to Beyond the Bills so you can see. I want to show you all. We want to put our shirts on display and let y'all see where we're going with this. But I want real quick. I want to run through. Focusing on what you can control. When you talk about living beyond the bills, beyond the talk, because talk is cheap. We can talk it all day, but it's about walking it. It's about actually living it out, right? And so, in order to do that, we have to look at what are the things that we control and what are the things that we don't control. So I'm gonna start off first with the things you can't control. Okay. First of all, you can't control the future of Social Security, especially if you're under 40 years old.
It seems like I have it.
Because it's not. That's a broken system. It's a broken system. The monies that if you worked since you was 16, 18, 21, that money is being used right now for the current set of retirees. Okay, so that system is broken. Do not anticipate or expect that to have any real value in your life. Okay, you can't control it, regardless. It's just you can't control it. The second thing you can control is your employer. You can't control who you work for, how long you're gonna work there, what they're gonna pay you, what they're not gonna pay you. You can't control it. You can't control taxes. You can't control inflation. And you can't control rising costs. Well, these are the things that you can control. You control how much you save. Okay. See, we have a saying in the business, the two things you can control is your attitude and your activity. So we need to focus on what you can control. So your activity in terms of paying yourself first, you can control that. Whether you save $1 or $1,000, you control that, right? Number two, you control how many sources of income you bring into the house. So get busy figuring that part out, right?
Why we don't have an income to match each bill? You know what I'm saying?
Life will be sweet, right? That's what I'm talking about. How much? What you say, LA? How much Bill Gates get paid today? Do you remember that number? Oh, man, it's crazy. All right, number three. The third thing you can't control is the ways to reduce your taxes. You can't control taxes, but you can control ways that you can hide some money legally. Do y'all know that you can save for your children's college until they're 30? A child can have a college fund until they're 30 years old. So what if they got a scholarship for undergrad? You can still have money rolling until they're 30. What if they decide to go to school late? A grown-up, an 18-year-old can open up his own college fund. Yes, tax-free money for them to go to school. If you got a late start for a 14-year-old, maybe they might not go right away. Right? So that's the way to have some money. Right? And then maximize your savings, save more, and diversify your investment choices. There are all different types of investment options out there. We got to get mutual funds working for us. We constantly in the stores. We constantly buying these items. We in the Walmarts. We in the Home Depots. We in the Targets. We got the iPhone itself, the Samsung. We got look, what amazes me is every child has all the stations, whatever, all them games. They don't just have PlayStation. When I was a kid, we either had Atari. I ain't trying to save myself. Genesis, right. But the kids got all of them. They get to choose, right? So here, Xbox, all of them. So listen, if we gonna have all that stuff, we might as well have stock in Sony. We have stock in AT&T and Sprint. And I mean, now we in a cell phone world. The 5-year-old got a cell phone, right? So why are we the consumer, but we're not the owner? See, we have to learn how to be the owner and not the loaner. We learn our time, our talent, and our treasure. We give up our money, our time, and our we're going on left now. Sorry, time, talent, and treasure. You got it. So pretty much those are the things that we can control. So you got to focus on what you can control. And the last thing that we're going to point out is you got what's called the debt cycle versus the cash cycle. The debt cycle we talked about is when you're controlled by your finances. You're trapped, right? You're outspending your income. You're borrowing to maintain a lifestyle, and you're paying off one debt just to accrue another. That's the debt cycle. But we need to move. We want to have hope. So the hope is we want to get to the cash cycle. So if you live beyond the bills, you got to get to the cash cycle, and that's when you control your finances. See, there's a war on bills. That's why we got beyond the bills. We have a war on bills, right? We want to become debt-free. We want to pay with cash instead of borrowing, and we want to become investors, savers, and we want to accumulate assets. That's the ticket.
Yeah, and I'm for me, I just think that for people, they never really understand this whole debt cycle, cash cycle. It's just this is like what? Like it's so foreign, right? It's so foreign to us, and it really can't be that way. It can't continue to be that way. There's so much knowledge out there. It's so open. It's so out there for you. So let's go out here and get it. So phenomenal stuff. So I know we're kind of getting into a point where we're wrapping this thing up. Yep. Is that right? First, all right.
I'm on y'all time.
Okay.
I'll let you go. But I do want to say one thing though. So all this is phenomenal information. It is. I talk about this on a daily basis on social media, friends, class. But as parents, and hopefully I'll be a parent one day, but that's to start at home. And that's start early.
Yeah.
Most of my guys in my fatherhood program, I asked them on Monday, I said, name me the 3 credit bureaus. One guy knew 2 out of 3. A class of 12. And one guy knew 2 out of 3. So it's like, to me, if you don't even know that, how you even going to even get busy with it? And then one that knew it was 52 years old. My class ranged from 20 to 52. A 52-year-old knew that. So I'm talking to the guys like, dang, well, if you're 40, how you have these conversations with your children? And they're like, Jones, we're not. They're like, we appreciate you talking about this because, the one guy said in class, well, if I get a credit, if I owe somebody, I just owe them. I'm like, no, you don't want to do what I did and dig yourself out of from a 504 to a 675. But life is so much better now with a like when I get a 700, I can tell my mom it's game over. When I get a 700 points, it's game over.
To a 761. So it changed. It totally changes your life to be able to do something like that. So you're absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. So we got a couple of events.
Let's
talk about.
Let's go.
So I'm gonna go back.
The whole thing, like she said, I mean, we're not just talking. We're going to talk because obviously you got to have the conversation, right? But it got to be beyond the talk. We got to actually do some stuff because we'll be like, oh, that was cute. Right? And then we don't do nothing, but action is listen, if you ever wanted to know how to cross the bridge from whatever you have in your mind to actually make it a reality. We think about being wealthy. We think about living beyond the bills, but it don't ever actually manifest into reality. Well, the bridge between what's in your mind and reality is action. Action is the bridge. That's how you do it. Yep. And most of us don't ever do it. So let's talk a little bit about it, and I'll give them the secret word. Don't forget it.
That's coming up, right? All right. So listen, this is our passion. So we're always taught in the professional world, do what you love what you do. And I have dedicated 20 plus years in this field. So I am super passionate about living beyond the bills. That's what it's all about. It's all about wealth accumulation. Someone asked a little while ago about generational wealth. Listen, we are constantly seeing people pass away. And the question is there a legacy left behind? What's being left behind? Are we fighting over a flat screen TV and a sofa? Are we leaving some real money on the table that could go? Or do we got to go fund me? Because that's a whole nother level. We do the life insurance piece as well. We don't call it life insurance, it's called income protection. So when we do it, we putting $500,000, $1 million policies on the table. Low end, every one of the parents that I've insured has $250,000 or more. And I'm taking people from $10,000 and $20,000 policies to $250,000 to $350,000. I paid death claims. I paid a death claim 2 years ago. 39-year-old, she had a brand new baby. She had a heart attack at her kitchen table, and her policy was a $300,000 policy that she paid $53 a month for. And when we had an increasing benefit rider on her policy, she had the policy for 9 years, which means the company gave her a 10% increase without medical from year 1 to 9, so the policy grew to $420,000. I took a check to her mother for $420,000. She let me invest $250,000 of it, $125,000 for her 9-year-old daughter, and $100,000 and some odd thousand set aside in a retirement plan for the mom. When the daughter turns 18 years old, she's gonna have $250,000 for her to go to school. That's generational wealth. That's helping a family go from this mother. Once she became a mother, she said, I'm grown and I have responsibilities and I need to now make sure $53, I got a $300,000 policy that grew to $420. See, you got two issues to deal with. You want to live long or die early. If you live long, you need money. That's what we've been talking about the whole time. If you die young, you need life insurance. Young meaning before you plan on dying, before your kids grew. Nobody plans on. You understand what I'm saying? But before your children are grown and before you hit retirement age, that's premature death. That's what we're protecting. Prematurely, dying before you have a chance to accumulate wealth. You work not to pay bills. You work to accumulate wealth. Right? We know we got to have a roof over our head and food to eat. That's not what we're working for. That should happen without question. That should happen without a blink. It's about living beyond that. And so that's our passion. So putting, as LA said, this conversation into action, putting this into movement, y'all got to hook up with us. We're looking for y'all to partner with us and get down with us. Now, what I want Dale to do is come over here. We're going to show you our Beyond the Bills shirt, right? I'm going to stand up. I don't know if you get his purse. Can you get it?
Oh, yeah.
You got us? All right, now. There's me, LA, and Dale repping our shirts, right? So one of our new series, now Beyond the Bills is a brand. Okay. So we do lunch and learns, where we'll have you come out to a nice, beautiful restaurant, and we'll have a great meal, and we're going to have a great conversation on finance. So look us up for the lunch and learns. We've done 2. We did a chat and chew because it was later in the evening. We did a lunch and learn, which is the afternoon. We did that at a soul food restaurant in the city. We did it at a lounge, the chat and chew. And we're going to do one right here at Divas in town. We're going to do one. I already talked to the owner. You got a spot. We're going to do a lunch and learn. What's it called? Duke. We're going to do it at Duke's, right? So we're going to be doing some Beyond the Bills, lunch and learns, and chat and chews. We want y'all to, when you see it advertised, we want y'all to hit us out. Come check us out. We're going to keep talking about this money conversation until we change the generation, right? Because you got to talk about it. They said genius needs to hear something 150 times in order for them to get it. And last time I checked, I'm not a genius. So I need to at least hear it 150 times for it to resonate and do something, right? So check us out for the lunch and learns and chat. But right now, we got our health and wealth series that we're kicking off. It is Beyond the Bills, Beyond the Facts. All right? Now we're going to turn around and show you.
So the back to
the only thing, I'll say this. Repeat, put this in the notes, Eric. The only thing that should be flat is your pocket. All right? So August 5th, Saturday, August 5th, we got Sunday, August 5th, we got a cycle bar event. My girl, Rashida Watson Scott, one of my oldest clients. She's been with me for 20 plus years as a client. She is the instructor of that class. I've been going to the cycle bar, great workout, 15-minute workout, and then we're going to have a rider's reception. In that reception person, we're going to have stock market smoothies. We're going to have rate of return investments, right? We're going to have financial independence finger food, right? And we're going to have some wealthy broccoli cider. We want to have fun. We want to have fun while we get in health, get in good shape, and invest our money. So the mission is, come in. If you got some weight loss goals, I definitely have that. I must lose 50 pounds. That's my goal. So if you have a weight loss goal, I want you to weigh in, put your weight loss goal down, and then we're going to put an investment goal in. So we really want your weight loss goal to match your investment, unless it's too small. If you want to lose $10, you may have to say, you want 10 pounds, then you ain't going to invest $10. You're going to say, you want triple that, double it. So we're going to figure out a number to match that up to. Minimum, we want you to do at least $50. So if you lose 50 pounds, then you want to invest $50. You want to lose 75 pounds, we get this large number, $75. But whatever number you say, you want to do that number, you want to double it, you want to triple it, and then we'll figure that out. So now you're going to start working on your health and start investing that money. So we're going to live beyond the bills. The only way we're going to do that is if we start putting some money away. Pay yourself first. We got to start with that. All right.
Post the flyer for this in the comments. That'd be excellent.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, what I want you guys to do, because we got some teammates here, and I want you guys to see what we're talking about. And so there it is. We do have a Facebook page called Beyond the Bills. Directly tied to Crystal is this Beyond the Bills event. So what we want to do is we're going to post a flyer for this event in the comments, if that's okay with you, person.
Absolutely.
Just so folks can see it. And we want people to really apply this information that we're talking about. So we got that. We got a community event happening at the end of July. It's sponsored by the Women's Power Network, and so we got some bunch of ladies in the building.
Women business owners, rocking out.
And so that's going to be
July 28th.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry, So we got a bunch of events. So before August 5th, the weekend prior, you know what that is? The weekend prior, at my office, 1341 Sandy Hill Road, we're having the Women's Power Network Community Vendor Expo. So we'll be vending at that event. So that'll be actually an opportunity to come check us out and get some literature. You can come get that financial needs analysis. You can sign up, get an appointment. We'll have a table along with my sisterhood girlfriends who also in business. We're gonna have a real estate agent there. We're gonna have some
eyeglass.
Eyeglass, eyewear. We're gonna have makeup and nails and food. We got some food. We got a food vendor. See, you know, y'all like some food, right? But it's gonna be awesome. It's shopping. I gotta say this: the first 50 shoppers that come in will get a free back-to-school container for their kids. Okay. So we'll be advertising more of who all's gonna be vending there. We got a jewelry person, a gift basket person, all kinds of services. Those products and services. Come check it out. See what we got going on. Come check out our office, and then again, you can get even more information on Beyond the Bills. We do expect Beyond the Bills, the Cycle Bar event, to sell out in the next 2 weeks. It's 46 bikes, and we already got half the bikes booked. So we expect that to be booked up in the next 10 days or so. So guys, jump on that.
So here's the thing. I know I said I was going to be on super and I was waiting. We kind of wanted to get to the end, but now is the time. We really want to check this out. So again, the number that you're going to text is 474747, right? And the word that you want to text, if you really want to get free, text the word beyond, right? Just text beyond to 474747. Do it right now, as a matter of fact, while we're still here on the live. If you got to, disconnect and come back, whatever you got to do, but just do it, write it down. Somebody put that in the comments, put beyond. Okay, so type the word beyond, BEYOND, text that to 474747. And it's going to give you, listen, we send out the keys to being successful. We talked about a good majority of them here today, but as things evolve, man, you want to stay in the environment. See, one of the things about, being successful is you got to stay in the environment. You got to stay plugged in, right? You got your cell phone, right? And if you don't plug it in for a while, what's going to happen to it? You're gonna die, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's what happens when you're not a part of this conversation, when you're not plugged into what we got going on. Eventually, all of the feelings that you feel right now and all the excitement that you are about, man, I'm gonna get 10, 20,000 saved, and eventually that dies because you're around an environment of people that talk about, I can't save no money. I can't save no money. Then you start thinking that same nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, you gotta stay encouraged. And that is so important. So make sure you text the word beyond the 474747. You can reach out to any of us directly on Facebook. You can call Crystal directly. Her number is 484-354-9321. We can put that in the comments. 484-354-9321. Regional Vice President Crystal Brown Pinckney. And listen, I'm telling you, she's going to make sure. Just let her know. Listen, I was on the Percy show. I heard you on the Percy show. Heard y'all talk. And listen,
the round table.
The round
You said
table.
93. What was the last two?
9321.
Okay.
9321. So 484-354-9321. That's a direct contact to a regional vice president of a financial company, guys. Listen, you know, one of the things I say, because like I said, right? But listen, this is my story, and I'll just stick to it. See, I got a lot of specialized knowledge, you know, from my mother. You know, my mother's a nurse, right? So as growing up, 12, 11, 12 years old, I kind of knew about, the female anatomy. I learned stuff that boys in high school just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously, there's a lot of stuff. I learned how to cook at 7 and stuff. So there was some stuff that I learned from my dad. You know, my dad now, he's a correctional officer in Virginia. He was on the other side of the line when he was in Philly, right? But the point is that I learned how to handle myself. I can fight, you know what I'm saying? So look, take me out of schoolyard, whatever the situation. I know some specialized knowledge from my parents, from my grandma. I learned some stuff too. But unfortunately, nobody in my family was a president of the bank. So when it came to money and finance, I told you I'm a music producer. I was making $60 an hour. I had money, just was confused about what to do. Because nobody in my family was telling me that kind of, man, you got an opportunity right now where you can have somebody in your phone, somebody who, you can really build a relationship with that is, a regional vice president of a financial company. That's the kind of stuff you want to get. You want somebody like her sitting at your kitchen table. Right. Trust and believe. I'll put that on side. And then here's the other thing. You actually have an opportunity to become a financial professional. You can be the financial professional in your house. You don't have to just trust what it is that we say. We're not, hogging the information. Oh, I'm gonna tell you. No, listen, don't trust what I say. Come in here, get a license, learn it for yourself. And then that way you can be the go-to person in your family when it comes to any of this information that we just shared. So
I think he's on it, Percy, because the whole additional income piece that we were talking about, we were saying in general, you need to make some additional income. But not only do we teach you how to live beyond the bills and help you to invest, like you don't have to go to anybody else. We're giving you the knowledge of what to do because we do it. But then we also have a business opportunity. So you can't say after watching this that you don't have access to a means to increase that income because you do. And so what you want to do is, they say poor is passing over opportunity repeatedly. And see, what you don't want to do is be poor. And so nothing beats to tell you better step out on faith, try something new. You'll pleasantly surprise yourself. If you got any level of work ethic, any desire to change your situation, if you have any that thumb on you, if you're willing to get that thumb off, step out on faith and call us up. Not only for the needs analysis, but also take a look at the needs to increase income.
So man, this was powerful, man. Thanks so much for having us at the round table. This was amazing.
We appreciate you.
No, thank you guys. I don't know if you guys watch the show on the trash, but I love talking about credit. I love talking about finances. So anytime we can do this on the platform,
man.
And thanks to Dale for reaching out to you.
Thank you.
And listen to you. So Percy, I just want to kind of give this to you, man. I'm making sure I watch. I just signed up for things like that because you've been a secret to me. You know what I'm saying? So here's what I'm saying to you, man. If ever that conversation, and you like, you know what? Let me just dial in one of my professionals. All you got to do is just press that little button that says, hey, you know what? I need, bring in one of the professionals. Okay. Just right on Facebook. I know earlier we had some technical difficulties because we all in the same room. But without that, we'd have been rolling, and we can actually just come in and answer questions specifically for your audience. So if there's ever a question, anything that y'all want to listen, let's have the conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's make it happen. So life don't happen because you wanted to happen. I hope y'all know that. You know what I'm saying? Even though you better want it, that's not why life happens, right? Life don't even happen because you pray for it to happen. You better pray, right? But life happens because you make it happen. That's what we are all about, is making our financial lives, making our lives happen.
Thank you all for coming on. Hopefully this won't be the last time.
Yeah.
You know, so this is definitely
You right here in town. You ain't that far. Look, I know how to get here now.
Yeah.
And I know where to go and all that. When I came to this, I said, oh, I hear his voice.
Now, this conversation needs to happen often. I don't think it does. You know, sometimes it happens like me when I take it serious when I'm over 30. You know, it's not too late, but I can just imagine all the money I blew in my 20s. That if I'd have been this focused at 21, man.
Yeah, you should have been a story for other people. So
Yeah.
It's a blessing all the way around.
Definitely. But thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Everybody be safe out there. We'll be back next week on our normal day,
We have a regular schedule.
8 to 10. The round table. Be safe, whatever you do tomorrow. God bless. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
We're gonna fireworks early.
Second floor, straight to the back.
Fireworks early.
Yeah.